As I look at the universe through the thoughts and guesses of the greatest thinkers history has known, I arrive at a picture which is much different than the guesses of the selected few physicists who control the media today. Faraday suspected that the final irreducible constituent of all physical reality was the electromagnetic field. Maxwell advanced the concept with his equations. Lorentz advanced the idea still more by showing that such a construct for the universe would produce all relativity phenomena that we observe. As I studied these and other great thinkers, a picture of a universe that consists solely of light emerged in my mind. My universe consists solely of electromagnetic phenomena and has existed in much the same form as it now exists for more time than anyone can imagine. This includes gravity and the nuclear forces. I did not arrive at this conclusion easily or alone. All the notions that I advocate are held by other physicists with doctorate degrees in the physical sciences. Years ago, I realized that the Big Bang was just another creation theory. There was no real evidence that supported it other than the fact that electromagnetic activity loses energy as it ages. Tired light theories sprang up among the detractors who were quickly set aside by the Big Bang theorists. There was no real mechanism known that could rob energy from light without also dispersing the light. Such dispersing of light is not observed. We now know that such a mechanism does exist. It was first mentioned by Sir Arthur Eddington in his paper of 1920. Early in the 21st century, many of us realized almost simultaneously that gravity is actually an electromagnetic phenomena. Not only do photons create gravity, but photons are the only source of gravity. Photons react to gravity by changing momentum toward a gravity source. Any change in momentum of any energetic entity requires an exchange of energy. Energy is thus exchanged between photons in space and patterns of photons that comprise massive objects. This gravity mechanism demands that photons must lose energy as they move through empty space. Gravity as a refraction process was known by Sir Arthur Eddington. He published a paper in 1920 that explained the process. A cosmos that consists solely of electromagnetic phenomena cannot provide black holes. Those supermassive objects we detect at galactic centers cannot contain a gravitational singularity. The reason that a gravitational singularity can never exist is that electric and magnetic amplitude of the E and B fields of photons saturate at a finite value. This saturation amplitude can never be exceeded. We know this because equations that solve for Planck's constant do not contain the amplitude of the E and B fields. If that amplitude were variable, it would necessarily be part of the equations. The amplitude of the E and B fields are therefore constants. Galaxies recycle the cosmos by collecting cosmic debris to produce stars and planets. Stars and planets tend toward galactic centers where they are gobbled up by supermassive ionic soup that spins at speeds near that of light. Strong electromagnetic fields generated by the spinning charged particles spew out debris. Positive ions and gamma radiation spew out perpendicular to the galactic plane in one direction. Negative ions, electrons, and gamma radiation spew out the direction opposite. The spewed out radiation interacts with ions and radiation in space to produce electrons, protons, and neutrons. The protons capture electrons by snapping the electron around itself so that the electron engulfs the proton. The shell of the electron consists of two saturated points of electromagnetic amplitude that spin at the speed of light to produce the shell. Hydrogen atoms are thus constantly created in space, where they tend to gather in huge clouds. The cosmos recycles itself by this process. The fields of photons seem to extend outward forever through space. while the saturated points of photons move at the constant speed of light, the fields seem to instantly exist as far as they can be detected. We know of this instant nature of the fields because electric charge and gravity do not exhibit the phenomena of aberration. Dr. Albert Geis did the math to determine how much the spewed out radiation from galaxies would affect their rotational speed. Since gravity operates at phenomenal range, a sphere of at least 1,000,000 light-years around the galaxy must be taken into account. The results of Dr. Geis's study indicated that the rotational speed of galaxies was consistent with observations without any consideration, such as exotic stuff like dark matter and dark energy.